Sometimes, before Allah brings the right person into your life, He first removes the wrong ones, heals the wounds that made you settle, and teaches your heart how to find peace without depending on anyone. What feels like loneliness may not be rejection, it may be preparation. Because before Allah changes who walks beside you, He often changes the heart within you. 1. Allah removes the people who keep disturbing your peace before the right person enters your life. Allah may first remove the people you were desperately trying to keep. You may cry, question everything, and wonder why a relationship you prayed for was allowed to end. In that moment, the separation feels like rejection, but later you may realize it was protection. Some people enter your life only to teach you what love should never feel like. They keep you confused, emotionally exhausted, and constantly afraid of losing them. You begin sacrificing your peace, ignoring your values, and accepting pain just to avoid being alone. Allah does not always close a door because you failed. Sometimes He closes it because He sees what you cannot see. He knows which connection is weakening your faith, damaging your confidence, and preventing you from receiving something healthier. The person meant for you will not make you beg for consistency, question your worth, or lose yourself just to keep the relationship alive. So stop returning to what Allah helped you escape. Every painful ending may be creating space for a love that brings peace, respect, sincerity, and barakah into your life. 2. You stop chasing love and start trusting Allah. One of the clearest changes before the right person enters your life is that you stop chasing love as though your happiness depends on it. In the past, you may have tried too hard to keep people interested, ignored their lack of effort, or accepted confusing behavior because you feared being alone. You may have believed that if you gave more, stayed quieter, or proved your worth, they would finally choose you. But healthy love should never require you to beg for attention or sacrifice your dignity. As Allah strengthens your heart, you begin to understand that what is written for you will not need to be forced. You still make sincere effort, meet people respectfully, and pray for marriage, but you no longer run after anyone who repeatedly pulls away. Instead of asking why they did not choose you, you begin asking whether the connection brings you closer to Allah, protects your peace, and honors your values. Trusting Allah does not mean doing nothing. It means refusing to destroy yourself while waiting for what He has written. When you stop chasing temporary attention, your heart becomes ready to recognize sincere, consistent, and halal love. The right person will not make you compete for a place in their life. They will meet your effort with clarity, respect, and intention. 3. Allah heals the wounds that made you choose the wrong people. Before Allah brings the right person into your life, He may first heal the hidden wounds that kept pulling you toward the wrong ones. Sometimes you were not choosing people because they were truly good for you. You were choosing them because you were afraid of being alone, desperate to feel wanted, or still carrying pain from the past. That pain made inconsistency feel exciting, emotional distance feel normal, and small moments of attention feel like deep love. You may have ignored warning signs because you wanted the relationship to work. You accepted confusion, disrespect, and broken promises because part of you believed this was the best love you could receive. But as Allah begins healing your heart, your standards change. You stop being impressed by words without action. You no longer confuse attachment with love or attention with sincere intention. Healing teaches you that love should not constantly make you anxious, insecure, or afraid. The person written for you should bring clarity, respect, and emotional safety, not endless uncertainty. When Allah heals the wounds that once controlled your choices, you become strong enough to walk away from what looks attractive but damages your peace. You also become wise enough to recognize a person whose character, faith, and intentions are genuine. Sometimes the delay is not because love is far away. It is because Allah is preparing your heart to stop choosing from pain and start choosing from wisdom. Wisdom. 4. Your dua becomes clearer and more mature. One of the most powerful signs that Allah may be preparing you for the right person is that the way you make dua begins to change. In the past, you may have prayed only for someone to enter your life quickly. You may have asked Allah to make a specific person love you, return to you, or become the person you hoped they would be. Your heart was so attached that you could not imagine happiness with anyone else. You believed that if this one person stayed, everything would finally feel complete. But as Allah gives you wisdom, you begin to understand that not every person you desire is good for your heart, your faith, or your future. Your dua becomes less desperate and more trusting. Instead of saying, Ya Allah, please give me this person, you begin saying, Ya Allah, if this person is good for my deen, my peace, and my future, bring them closer. But if they will harm me, remove them from my heart and give me something better. That is not a small change. It means you are no longer trying to force Allah's plan to match your emotions. You are allowing His wisdom to guide you, even when His answer is different from what you wanted. A mature dua is not only about finding someone attractive, successful, or emotionally exciting. You begin asking for someone with good character, sincerity, patience, loyalty, and fear of Allah. You pray for a person who will not only say beautiful words, but will also show responsibility through their actions. You ask for someone who respects your boundaries, protects your dignity, communicates honestly, and does not disappear whenever life becomes difficult. You no longer ask only for someone who makes your heart beat faster. You ask for someone whose presence makes your heart feel safe. You also begin thinking beyond the first moments of love. You stop asking only, will this person choose me? And start asking, will this person remain kind when we disagree? Will they help me grow closer to Allah? Will they respect my family? Will they protect the trust I place in them? Will they remain sincere when the excitement becomes responsibility? These questions show that your heart is becoming ready for real commitment rather than temporary attention. Many people pray for love but are not yet prepared for what healthy love requires. A strong relationship needs patience, honesty, emotional control, forgiveness, sacrifice, and responsibility. It is not built only on feelings. Feelings can change from day to day, but character determines how someone treats you when they are tired, angry, disappointed, or under pressure. As your dua matures, you begin asking Allah not only for the right person, but also to make you the right person for them. You start praying, Ya Allah, improve my character, heal my insecurities, teach me how to communicate without hurting others, remove jealousy, pride, and fear from my heart. Help me become patient, trustworthy, and emotionally strong. This is a beautiful sign because you are no longer waiting for someone else to complete you while refusing to work on yourself. You understand that marriage is not an escape from your wounds. If your pain remains unhealed, you may carry it into the relationship and expect your partner to fix what only Allah and sincere personal growth can heal. Your dua may also become less focused on timing. Before, you may have constantly asked, when will it happen? Why is everyone finding someone except me? Why am I still waiting? You compared your life with other people and treated their blessings as proof that you were being forgotten. But as your faith grows, you stop measuring Allah's love by how quickly He gives you what you want. You begin trusting that delay does not always mean denial. Sometimes Allah delays a blessing because the person is not ready, because you are still being prepared, or because the wrong timing could turn a blessing into a source of pain. You learn to pray without demanding a deadline. You say, Ya Allah, bring it at the time that is best, not simply at the time I feel lonely. This kind of surrender protects your heart from making rushed decisions. Loneliness can make a temporary person look permanent. Attention can make someone appear sincere. A few kind words can make you overlook serious warning signs. But when your dua is guided by patience, you become less likely to choose someone only because you are tired of waiting. A mature dua also includes the courage to accept Allah's answer. Sometimes Allah responds by bringing someone closer. Sometimes He responds by revealing their true character. Sometimes He creates distance, closes the door, or removes your attachment. At first, that answer may feel painful because you were expecting union, not separation. But later, you may realize that the closed door was the answer to your prayer for protection. You asked Allah for someone good, so He exposed the person who was not. You asked for peace, so He removed the connection that kept you anxious. You asked for a sincere future, so He ended something built on uncertainty. The answer did not look like the blessing you expected, but it may have been the protection you desperately needed. Your prayers also become more private and sincere. You stop announcing every desire to people and begin speaking honestly to Allah. In sujood, you tell Him what frightens you, what you hope for, and what you are trying to heal. You ask Him to protect you from becoming attached to someone who is not written for you. You ask Him to give you the strength to walk away from what looks beautiful but carries no barakah. You ask Him to protect your heart from being deceived by appearances. Most importantly, you begin praying for a relationship that has a purpose beyond temporary happiness. You want companionship, but you also want spiritual growth. You want affection, but you also want mercy. You want someone who supports your dreams, but also someone who reminds you of Allah when your heart becomes distracted. You want a home filled not only with comfort, but with prayer, gratitude, patience, and respect. This is what makes your dua mature. You stop asking only for a person and begin asking for a life of goodness with them. You pray for a connection that protects both hearts, strengthens both people, and carries barakah into the future. When your dua reaches this level, it shows that your heart is no longer chasing a fantasy. It is preparing for responsibility, sincerity, and real love. You may still feel lonely sometimes. You may still wonder when your prayer will be answered. But now you are no longer willing to accept anything just because you are tired of waiting. You trust that Allah knows the difference between what attracts you for a moment and what will protect you for a lifetime. So you pray with hope, but you also surrender with faith. You ask clearly, wait patiently, and leave the final choice to the one who knows every hidden intention and every unseen future. And perhaps that is one of the greatest signs of preparation. You no longer ask Allah merely to give you the person you want. You ask Him to give you the person who is truly good for your dunya, your heart, and your akhirah. 5. You become peaceful without needing a relationship. One of the deepest signs that Allah may be preparing your heart for the right person is that you stop treating a relationship as the only doorway to happiness. You still desire companionship, marriage, affection, and a peaceful future with someone, but you are no longer waiting for another person to rescue you from emptiness. You begin understanding that no human being can carry the responsibility of making you feel complete every day. People can support you, love you, and walk beside you, but they cannot replace your relationship with Allah, heal every hidden wound, or give your life its entire meaning. In the past, loneliness may have made you accept people who were not right for you. You may have stayed in confusing situations because having someone felt better than having no one. Even when the connection disturbed your peace, you held on to it because you feared the silence that would remain after they left. You believed that being chosen by someone would finally prove your worth. Their messages made you feel important. Their attention made you feel seen. And their distance made you question everything about yourself. But as Allah strengthens you, your heart begins to change. You no longer panic when someone becomes distant. You stop measuring your value by how quickly people reply, how often they praise you, or whether they decide to stay. You begin to understand that your worth was never created by another person's approval. Allah gave you dignity before anyone noticed you, loved you, or chose you. This peace does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop making another person the center of your emotional world. You can love without losing yourself. You can hope for marriage without believing your life is meaningless until it happens. You can feel lonely sometimes without allowing loneliness to push you toward what is harmful. You start recognizing the difference between wanting companionship and depending on it for survival. When your heart becomes healthier, you stop looking for someone to distract you from yourself. You begin facing the feelings you once avoided. You examine your fears, insecurities, habits, and emotional wounds. Instead of expecting another person to silence your pain, you bring it to Allah. You make dua with honesty, ask for healing, and take responsibility for your growth. You also begin building a life that does not remain empty while you wait. You strengthen your salah, improve your character, care for your health, learn useful skills, support your family, and work toward meaningful goals. You stop placing your entire future on pause because love has not arrived yet. Every day becomes valuable, not merely a waiting room for marriage. This change is powerful because desperate hearts often ignore warning signs. When you believe you need someone to be happy, you may tolerate disrespect just to avoid losing them. You may excuse dishonesty, accept emotional neglect, or remain silent about your boundaries because you fear returning to loneliness. But when you are already at peace, you no longer feel forced to accept whatever appears. You can walk away from inconsistency because you are not terrified of being alone. You can reject attention without intention because temporary affection no longer impresses you. You can wait for something sincere because you have learned that peace is better than a connection that constantly makes you anxious. The right person should not become your escape from life. They should become a trustworthy companion within a life that already has faith, direction, and purpose. If two emotionally empty people enter a relationship expecting the other to fix everything, love quickly becomes pressure. Each person begins demanding constant reassurance, attention, and proof. Small misunderstandings feel like rejection, and ordinary distance feels like abandonment. But when two grounded people come together, they do not use each other as emotional medicine. They support one another without making each other responsible for every feeling. They can communicate honestly, respect personal space, and remain connected to Allah even while deeply loving each other. Their relationship becomes a source of mercy rather than dependency. Becoming peaceful alone also protects you from confusing intensity with sincerity. Some relationships begin with endless attention, beautiful promises, and overwhelming emotion. It feels powerful, but it may not be stable. When you are emotionally hungry, intensity can look like love. You may become attached before you understand the person's character. However, peace gives you patience. You no longer rush to label every connection as destiny. You observe how someone behaves when they are disappointed, busy, angry, or unable to get what they want. You notice whether their actions match their words. You pay attention to their relationship with Allah, their treatment of family, their honesty, and their respect for boundaries. You are no longer asking only, do they make me feel special? You begin asking, are they trustworthy? Are they emotionally responsible? Do they bring calmness or constant confusion? Will this connection protect my faith or slowly weaken it? This is what inner peace gives you, the ability to choose with wisdom instead of fear. You may also become more comfortable with silence. Before, you needed constant communication to feel secure. If someone did not message you, your mind created painful stories. You assumed you were forgotten, replaced, or no longer valued. But as your trust in Allah deepens, silence loses its power over you. You learn that not every quiet season is rejection. Sometimes Allah uses solitude to return you to yourself. He teaches you what you truly need, what you must heal, and what you should never accept again. In that quietness, you discover parts of yourself that were buried beneath your need for attention. You begin enjoying your own company without feeling abandoned. You can sit alone, reflect, pray, read, work, or rest without believing something is missing from your identity. This does not make you cold or independent from everyone. Islam encourages connection, family, compassion, and community. But healthy connection begins when you stop expecting people to give you what only Allah can provide: complete security, unchanging love, and ultimate purpose. People are human. They will have weaknesses, difficult days, and moments when they cannot understand everything inside you. If you expect your future spouse to remove every sadness, fulfill every dream, and always know what you need, you may place an impossible burden on them. A peaceful heart understands that marriage is companionship, not worship. Your spouse can be a blessing, but they cannot become the source of your entire existence. This understanding makes your future love healthier. You enter the relationship wanting to give, grow, communicate, and build, not merely to receive constant emotional rescue. You do not demand that another person abandon themselves to prove their love for you. Because you have learned to respect your own identity, you can respect theirs too. You also stop feeling jealous of every relationship you see. Before, another person's engagement, marriage, or happiness may have made you feel left behind. You wondered why Allah had answered them while you were still waiting. Social media made it appear as though everyone had found love except you. But peace teaches you that another person's timing says nothing about your value. Their blessing does not reduce what Allah can give you. Their chapter is not proof that your story is late. You become able to celebrate others without secretly believing you have been forgotten. You begin trusting that Allah knows when a blessing will benefit you and when it may overwhelm you. Perhaps you are being protected from entering a relationship before you understand yourself. Perhaps the person written for you is also growing, healing, and becoming ready. Perhaps the delay is preventing you from making a decision that loneliness would have rushed. When your heart accepts this, waiting becomes less painful. You still make dua, but you do not allow your unanswered prayer to steal every present blessing. You recognize the people who already love you, the opportunities Allah has opened, the health you still have, and the growth taking place within you. You stop ignoring today while waiting for tomorrow. Another sign of this peace is that your standards become calmer and stronger. You no longer create unrealistic fantasies, but you also stop accepting the bare minimum. You are not looking for perfection. You understand that every person has flaws, including you. Yet you know the difference between normal human weakness and patterns that destroy trust. You can show patience without tolerating manipulation. You can forgive mistakes without ignoring repeated disrespect. You can be compassionate without becoming responsible for changing someone who refuses to grow. Your boundaries are no longer walls built from bitterness. They become doors that allow sincerity in and keep harm outside. You also stop trying to convince people to see your value. When someone repeatedly misunderstands, neglects, or mistreats you, you no longer waste all your energy proving that you deserve better. You understand that the right person will still need communication, but they will not require you to beg for basic kindness. This peaceful version of you becomes difficult to manipulate because you are no longer controlled by the fear of being left. You know that losing an unhealthy connection is not the same as losing your future. You trust that Allah can replace what you release for His sake, even if the replacement is first peace, wisdom, and a stronger heart before it becomes another person. Sometimes people believe they are ready for love because they feel lonely, but loneliness is not always readiness. Readiness appears when you can enter a relationship without abandoning your values, faith, goals, and identity. It appears when you can love deeply while remaining honest about what is healthy. It appears when you are willing to give effort, but not destroy yourself to keep someone. You are becoming ready when you no longer say, I need someone to make my life worth living. Instead you say, Allah has already given my life meaning, and I hope to share that life with someone who brings goodness into it. That change may feel quiet, but it is powerful. It means you are no longer seeking a person to complete what only Allah can complete. You are seeking a companion who will walk beside you, remind you of faith, respect your heart, and help build a home filled with mercy and barakah. The strongest love does not begin when two people are desperate to escape loneliness. It begins when two people understand that they belong to Allah first. They come together not to worship each other, but to support each other in worshipping Him. They do not promise a life without pain, but they promise honesty, patience, loyalty, and sincere effort through it. So do not believe that becoming happy alone means giving up on love. It means preparing for healthier love. It means learning how to receive affection without becoming addicted to attention. It means developing enough peace to recognize the difference between someone who simply excites you and someone who is capable of building a stable future with you. Keep making dua for the right person, but do not forget to ask Allah for a peaceful heart while you wait. Ask Him to remove desperation. protect you from false attachment, and teach you to enjoy the life He has already given you. Ask Him to make your future relationship an addition to your gratitude, not a replacement for it. Perhaps Allah is not only preparing someone for you, perhaps He is preparing you to meet them without carrying the same fear, insecurity, and emotional dependency that once guided your choices. And when the right person finally enters your life, you will not hold on to them because you are afraid to stand alone. You will choose them from clarity, faith, and peace. You will love them deeply without losing yourself, and you will appreciate their presence without forgetting the one who brought them into your life. So do not mistake this season of waiting for abandonment. The doors closing, the people leaving, and the silence surrounding you may be protecting your heart from a future you cannot yet see. Perhaps Allah is not delaying love to punish you. Perhaps He is removing the wrong attachments, healing the wounds that made you settle, and teaching you that your peace should never depend entirely on another person. Keep making dua, but do not put your life on hold. Strengthen your faith, protect your dignity, improve your character, and become peaceful in the life Allah has already given you. The right person should not arrive to rescue you from emptiness. They should arrive as a blessing that adds mercy, sincerity, and barakah to a heart already connected to Allah. Only Allah knows who is written for you and when your paths will meet. Your responsibility is not to chase every person who gives you attention or force every connection to become your destiny. Your responsibility is to trust Allah enough to release what harms you and remain patient for what is truly good for you. And when the right person finally enters your life, you may understand why the wrong people had to leave, why certain prayers were delayed, and why Allah first taught you how to stand peacefully on your own. Because the greatest love story is not simply finding someone who chooses you, it is becoming someone who can recognize sincere love, receive it with gratitude, and build it in a way that brings both hearts closer to Allah.